let's go to Washington now. Oh, boy. So we have now a special investigator, a special counsel, except he's not so special. It's David Weiss. Who's David Weiss? The guy who just did the sweetheart deal. Well, wait a minute. In special counsel is not supposed to be the guy who's already been doing the investigation in the government. It's a special counsel, somebody that comes from outside the government and then starts looking at what all of the other people have collected. He's supposed to be somebody that's not connected to this at all. This is the guy who made the sweetheart deal. This is the guy who said, yeah, you know what? We're not going to look there. I tell you what, let's hold off. What time does the statute of limitations? Right now they've expired. All right, you can look into it now. That's that guy.
Very strange. It seems at the very least, it's a free pass to not have to testify to the House.
Yes.
Right? Like, so usually a special counsel would not have to go and testify to the House. Now he's sort of in that protected status. So the planned testimony that was supposed to happen here in September or October is now not going to happen, most likely.
Unless the Democrats or the Republicans stand up and say, enough is enough. Enough is enough.
Is that enough to do? Can they force? I don't know. Honestly, I don't know.
Enforce the law? I don't know.
Is that the law?
Yeah, it is.
So they can require him to come even if he's a special counsel.
No. I'm saying, let me see if I can find the report here. I am saying that the law is that he has to be an outside of the government counsel. That's the way it works.
Is it outside of the federal government is how they're getting away that essentially?
Yeah.
Because he's not, he's from Delaware. Trump appointed, by the way. That's the people keep bringing that up.
Yeah, but
it's
do you
a
know
little
what
bit
that even
squishy.
means?
Yeah, it's a little squishy on that, but still, it's a point. Like, and I will say, like, looking back at it, I tried to track this down a little bit this weekend, and I didn't spend a ton of time, so maybe I'm missing something on this. But the appearance that we got that this was a get out of jail free card for everything. We all got that impression, right? This was a deal. It all dealt with was the gun charges and the income tax charges. But what it meant was it's a free pass for everybody. Like, you just get off with that. And then they went to court, and the court asked Hunter Biden, what do you think this is? And he's like, well, this is it. All my charges are now clear, and this whole period of my life is now, I'm get out of jail free for that. And then they asked the government, and they said, what do you think it is? And he said, no, actually, it's just for these two charges, and this is ongoing. The only reason we really have the impression it was a get out of jail card for everything is Hunter Biden's attorneys. Right? Like, I can't find a place where the government said this was a get out of jail free card.
They actually did say the opposite. When in court, the Hunter said, yeah, this is his attorneys. Yeah, let's get out of jail. And the attorney said, well, no, not exactly.
That's what I'm saying, though.
Yeah,
and
that's the only thing I've seen.
So my impression of this being a get out of jail free card from the moment that deal was made is at least mostly based on Hunter Biden's attorneys saying it, which, of course, Hunter Biden's attorneys are going to say that. Why not? Why wouldn't you say it? And the media ate that up and reported it as if it was fact. But I can't find a point where the government said this.
Maybe David Weiss isn't so bad?
I'm trying to say, like, maybe this is the only way I can come up with it. And I think there are holes in this theory because of what you were talking about with, like, delaying and how long this has taken and how they've been able to lock it down. But is it possible that Weiss didn't actually cut this sweetheart deal? He just gave him the deal, which I think you could still describe as sweetheart on just these two pieces of the investigation, right? Like, you could say just, like, for example, the gun charges, they basically shrugged their shoulders and said nothing was going to happen, right? Okay, just don't do anything bad for a few years and you're fine on the gun charges. The taxes, he paid him back. There's a slap on the wrist, but that was it. And I think you could describe that as a sweetheart deal on just those two things. But it's a ridiculous deal if it encompasses everything. The only people we're getting that evidence from seems to be Hunter Biden's attorneys, which obviously I don't trust at all. So I don't know. Maybe there's an argument that he's not as bad.
So,
I'm just trying to look for the positive.
Yeah, I know you're looking for the positive. I can't get past
but
this. This is the actual U.S. code. An individual named as special counsel shall be a lawyer with a reputation for integrity and impartial decision making.
Right? We don't.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, we can argue that.
Okay, sure.
With the appropriate experience to ensure both that the investigation will be conducted ably, expeditiously, and thoroughly, and that the investigative and prosecutorial decisions will be supported by an informed understanding of criminal law and the Department of Justice policies. I don't think you got a problem with that one.
Mm-hmm.
The special counsel shall be selected from outside the United States government. Special counsels shall agree that their responsibilities as special counsel shall take first precedence in their professional lives, and that it may be necessary to devote their full-time life to the investigation, depending on its complexity and the state of the investigation. So it says right in the code, shall be from outside the United States government.
Now, I guess their out would be the United States government refers to the federal government, right? And Weiss is not part of the federal government. He's part of the government of Delaware, right? So I guess that's their out.
Well, he's a federal attorney. He's the U.S. attorney.
And he was appointed by the U.S. government.
Right. He's
So,
appointed. That's part of the U.S. attorney. He works for the Justice Department in Delaware.
So I would, I would think that's a part of the U.S. government.
Yeah.
That's how I would count.
Why else would you be called a U.S. attorney?
Right. Yeah.
You're an attorney for the U.S. government. You don't get your paycheck from the U.S. government? Why,
right.
Is that why?
Right. I mean, there doesn't seem to be a legitimate out here. That seems to be what they're arguing.
Correct.
But
if the Republicans do not hold this, I mean, this is black and white.
Mm-hmm.
No. It may be necessary to devote their full time to the investigation, depending on its complexity and the stage of the investigation. So he's coming in. This is saying we're going to appoint a special counsel that comes in, and then depending on where it is, he may have to devote his full-time job to this.
So why didn't the government? Because I think I'm with the argument that Weiss is not good at this. This is not the right guy. I think that's where I am. But why? My question is why
didn't think it would be a hard sell. Well, it doesn't sound like a hard sell, but you're trying to trying to give him benefit of the doubt.
I'm theorizing here. I'm looking for sunshine, and I'm admittedly reaching a little bit because I don't. It's so hard to understand how this can even happen in our country. But I guess another piece of the evidence that keeps hanging me up is why didn't they just say yes, it is a get out of jail free card for all this stuff? We look all into it and it's over. Why would the government in the court step up and say, no, the investigation is still ongoing? Why wouldn't they just say, we looked into it and we didn't find anything? Right? Like, why wouldn't they just say that it was over? Like, we were at the end of this and the government is the one that stopped it.
Maybe because they knew if asked, I think they were trying to get it past her.
They're just trying to just get it past her. And if
you ask, I got to tell you the truth.
Right. But like, if that was the truth and Hunter Biden's people they had this little behind the scenes arrangement. Look, we're going to get you through here. Why were Hunter Biden's attorneys going to the media and telling them this was an all-encompassing deal? They should have been hiding it.
Yeah, I don't know.
It doesn't make any sense. There's something weird here, I guess, is where I keep landing on this.